Hey guys, what's up? It's Mike. I'm back again. I want to talk about today. I want to talk about this Virginia Tech against 13 ranked South Carolina last night. It's a pretty good game, my opinion. Tech's defense really showed up. I mean, they, for the most part, they shut down South Carolina for a good part of the game. I'm gonna go over some of the stats, and then we'll talk about the rest of the game. All right. Time of possession: Tech was 34 minutes. South Carolina was 26. First downs: Virginia Tech had 19. South Carolina had 16. Total yards: Tech had 336. South Carolina had 328. Passing yards: Tech had 221. South Carolina had 209. Rushing yards was pretty even. Tech had 115. South Carolina had 119. Penalties: Tech had 4. South Carolina had 8. Total return yards: Tech had 67. South Carolina had 80. Total plays: Tech ran 72. South Carolina had 56. Yards per play was 4.7 for Tech. South Carolina was 5.9. And here's the big stat right here, guys. Turnovers: Tech had 2. South Carolina had 9. I'm sorry, 0. 9. I'm sorry, guys. They had 0. So, I know Tech was down in the red zone at least 2 other times, and they came away with no points. One of them was an interception in the end zone. That's a killer. You cannot turn the ball over in the red zone, period. So that had a big play in the game. And the special teams for Tech blew it, and South Carolina Tech had got back in the game, and they punted the ball to South Carolina. It was a penalty. Beamer, Frank Beamer's son, was the coach of South Carolina, which I think is pretty ironic, but he wanted to back him up 5 yards and re-kick, and man, if he didn't call it, Tech repunted the ball, and the guy ran it all the way back for a touchdown. So I think that was one of the biggest turning points in the game, because, like I said, Tech had got back in the game, and then that happened. So yeah, that was a big part. A little bit of it was Fry, who's the coach of Tech. I just didn't agree with some of his calls, and his clock management wasn't that great. I don't know what it is, but and Tech does it every year. I sit there, me and my son was watching the game, and I'm like, all right, Tech is going to do this, Tech's going to do that, and pretty much about 90% of the time I was correct. So if I'm sitting here watching the game as a fan, don't you think the defensive coordinator of South Carolina is seeing the same thing I'm seeing? He's going to shut it down. I was like, all right, Tech's going to run the ball this play. What do they do? They run the ball. All right, they're going to try a quick pass right here. And they try a quick pass, and the guy knocks it down, or he throws it too low, or whatever he did. So I'm not a coach. I'm just a fan watching football. If I can call the play out and know what Tech is doing, God damn it, don't you think a coach that's getting paid, if not $1 million, right at $1 million, don't you think he knows what Tech's going to do? All the film they watch. So the offensive coordinator needs to tighten up for Tech. You got a running quarterback. He ran a little, but I just don't understand. Use his talent. I get it's a long season. You don't want him to get hurt. It's the first game of the year. But goddamn, Tech's defense really stepped. That's one of the best defenses I've seen from Virginia Tech in a long time. Their defense was flying. They was all over the field. The special teams and clock management, I think, well, then plus the interception in the end zone, is what cost Virginia Tech the game. And if a lot of it falls on the head coach, some of it was on that quarterback, Drones. I'm glad he came back because Tech definitely needed him. But to throw that touchdown in the end zone, that's a backbreaker. That's a backbreaker. I mean, you could come away with at least 3. You know what I'm saying? That's a 4-point swing. You know, when you throw the interception, because he pretty much had a field goal. I mean, I think that the Tech's kicker kicked a 59-yard field goal, I think, right before the half. I think it was 59. It might have been 62, but he was either 59 or 62. I can't exactly remember. But yeah, so you had the momentum going into the locker room. Plus, you got the ball coming out of the locker room. So, I mean, it's just, I don't think Fry is for Tech. I just don't. The head coach. I think they need to go into a different, after the season, they need to go in a different direction. I think Tech is going to surprise some people. I think Tech is probably going to win 8-9 games this year. So if they stay healthy, I think they have a chance to win 8 or 9 games this year. But yeah, I think Tech needs to go in a different direction as far as head coach wise, in my opinion. It seemed like, I mean, the way your team reacts on the field, as far as like penalties and gets mad and gets a 15-yard penalty against him, that's a direct reflection on the coach. I mean, he's not holding his team or his players accountable. God damn it. He's not holding his players accountable. You know, if I'm the coach and a player makes a stupid penalty, gets a stupid penalty, 15 yards, I'm bringing his ass in and he's sitting on the bench. I'm going to prove a point. He's going to sit on the bench for at least one series. You're going to sit your ass on the bench. You know what I'm saying? You just brush it off and get 15-yard penalty and it's like it's nothing. Bullshit. On the bench you go. Well, that's just my take on the game, guys. Yeah, I think Tech, I mean, like I said, the defense is off to a great start. The offense, I mean, they were hit and miss, but a lot of the receivers were dropping balls too. I mean, what's the old saying? The old coaches say, if it hits you in the hand, you're supposed to catch it. Well, it was a lot of them that got hit in the hand and they dropped them. It was probably at least 4 or 5 drops in the game, and probably 2 or 3 of them was clutch. We're talking like first down catches. So you can't have that either. So, but overall, South Carolina 13th ranked. They beat Tech 24-11. But overall, it was a good game. All right, guys, this is my opinion. Leave your comments down in the comment box. Subscribe and like to my channel, guys, so I can keep growing. And I will see you on the next one. Later, guys.